When a man begins to look, as it were, through the eyes of others, and to measure them by their own standard and not by his, then he ceases from seeing of evil in others, for he knows that every man's perception and standard of good and evil is different, that there is no vice so low but some men regard it as good, no virtue so high but some men regard it as evil, and what a man regards as good that to him is good, what he regards as evil that to him is evil. Nor will the purified man, who has ceased to see evil in others, have any desire to win men to his own ways or opinions, but will rather help them in their own particular groove, knowing that an enlarged experience only, and not merely change of opinion, can lead to higher knowledge and greater blessedness. It will be found that men see evil in those who differ from them, good in those who agree with them. The man who greatly loves himself and is enamored of his opinions will love all those who agree with him and will dislike all those who disagree with him. If ye love them that love ye, what reward have ye? Love your enemies, do good to them that hate you. Egotism and vanity make men blind. Men of opposing religious views hate and persecute each other, men of opposing political views fight and condemn each other. The partisan measures all men by his own standard, and sets up his judgments accordingly. So convinced is he that he is right and others wrong that he at last persuades himself that to inflict cruelty on others is both good and necessary in order to coerce them into his way of thinking and acting, and so bring them to the right, his right, against their own reason and will. Men hate, condemn, resist and inflict suffering upon each other, not because they are intrinsically evil, not because they are deliberately wicked and are doing, in the full light of truth, what they know to be wrong, but because they regard such conduct as necessary and right. All men are intrinsically good, but some are wiser than others, are older in experience than others. I recently heard, in substance, the following conversation between two men whom I will call D and E. The third person referred to as X is a prominent politician. Every man reaps the result of his own thoughts and deeds, and suffers for his own wrong. If that is so, and if no man can escape from the penalty of his evil deeds, what an inferno some of our men in power must be preparing for themselves. Whether a man is in power or not, so long as he lives in ignorance and sin, he will reap sorrow and suffering.
Look, for instance, at X, a man totally evil, given up entirely to selfishness and ambition. Surely great torments are reserved for so unprincipled a man.
But how do you know he is so evil? By his works, his fruits. When I see a man doing evil I know that he is evil, and I cannot even think of X but I burn with righteous indignation. I am sometimes inclined to doubt that there is an overruling power for good when I see such a man in a position where he can do so much harm to others. What evil is he committing? His whole policy is evil. He will ruin the country if he remains in power. But while there are large numbers of people who think of X as you do, there are also large numbers, equally intelligent, who look on him as good and able, who admire him for his excellent qualities, and regard his policy as beneficent and making for national progress. He owes his position to these people. Are they also evil? They are deceived and mislead. And this only makes X's evil all the greater, in that he can so successfully employ his talents in deceiving others in order to gain his own selfish ends. I hate the man. May it not be possible that you are deceived? In what way? Hatred is self-deception, love is self-enlightenment. No man can see either himself or others clearly until he ceases from hatred and practices love. That sounds very beautiful, but it is impracticable. When I see a man doing evil to others, and deceiving and misleading them, I must hate him. It is right that I should do so. X is without a spark of conscience. X may or may not be all you believe to be, but, even if he is, according to your own words, he should be pitied and not condemned. How so? You say he is without a conscience. Entirely so. Then he is a mental cripple. Do you hate the blind because they cannot see, that dumb because they cannot speak, or the deaf because they cannot hear? When a captain has lost his rudder or broken his compass, do you condemn him because he did not keep his ship off the rocks? Do you hold him responsible for the loss of life? If a man is totally devoid of conscience, he is without the means of moral guidance, and all his selfishness must, perforce, appear to him good and right and proper. X may appear evil to you, but is he evil to himself? Does he regard his own conduct as evil? Whether he regards himself as evil or not, he is evil.